and everyone's gone. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I have absolutely no idea what happened there. So I might as well go and get a top up and hope that people just drop back in again, you know. Hello, mate. I've got absolutely no idea what happened there. You know, we've just lost everyone, which is such a fucking shame. It was the webcam. It just decided that it didn't want to play. It didn't want to work. So there was nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm glad you're still there. Oh, we've got a few others that have piled back in. I don't know if this is who was with us originally or. Hey up, Jordan. Hey, thanks for your due diligence and fuck you know. It's so annoying because when you've got flow, you don't want that flow interrupting. Fucking Nora. Anyway, I do apologise, guys. I don't know what happened there. I bought this little because I've got a few things plugged into the laptop via USB, including thumb drives, little USB thumb drives for memory, and so there wasn't enough USB sockets on the laptop, so I bought this little gadget that's not let me down. I've used it a few times. It's never let me down, and it was from a really, really reputable, good quality source. You know, Temu. The same Temu that nearly set your ass on fire, Jordan. Oh dear. Yeah, how bizarre, how bizarre. What a fucking nightmare. Hello, Dave Ollerhead. Dave O. Oh, right, is that your full name? Dave Ollerhead. Seem to be having trouble posting from my phone. Yeah, that was very, very strange, that. I don't think that had anything to do with me whatsoever. You know? I think that was just some weird, crazy little glitch. And again, these glitches that you get, especially on anything to do with Google and YouTube, there's usually a reason for it, you know, because it went down recently as well, not for long, but it went down, and there's no real reason for that. There's no need for it to go down. Anything that they need to do to kind of update it, upgrade it, expand it, whatever, it can be done without removing the actual platform and its functionality. It can. So I don't know what tomfoolery or skullduggery. I love those words. Tomfoolery and skullduggery and fuckery. What sort of fuckery is this? Have we lost our Lana? I do apologise, guys. Another thing that I found out today that is a little bit well, it's not concerning. You're not going to die. No one's going to fucking die, right? But we have got you see, I'm very, 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 very big advocate for olive oil because I know what it can do for the body. It's so fucking good for you. And my girls have it every day, every single day. And I mean, Zephyr's got a shaggy border terrier coat, you know, but Storm, you can see your face. You can see your face in it, and their eyes glisten, you know. Now, there's a trucker strike in Spain. Now, if you did a quick Google search, you'll find that the main provider of olive oil to England is Spain. And there's some sort of strike going on at the moment, and it's not set to be a very, very short-term thing either. So if you can nip to your shop either, you know, in the morning or in the afternoon tomorrow to stock up on olive oil, please do, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Like I say, they're our main provider. So you're going to end up with either shops and supermarkets running out of good quality olive oil, or the prices are going to go through the roof, or both. Yeah, it is poo tube, just my fucking head in, mate. YouTube has been iffy the past few days. I agree, Dave. I agree. It's been a bit weird with me trying to, all of the hoops that I had to jump through just to get a live stream on this channel. You only need 50 subscribers to do a live stream. I've got 60, but I still had to jump through loads of hoops. Wanted my phone number, my blood type. Last time I had a shag. Bit cool. Let me I got hot and flustered trying to get the live stream back together. And when I say hot, I got hot, like fuck off with this wig. So I'll put it back on. Again, it's a psychological thing. So nothing's as serious when it's serious, you know. And one of you lovely, oh my God, I look like, you're far right, racist, bigot bastard, fuck off. I look really fucked up. Again, like a TMU tranny that's just got out of bed. I had trouble as well at the start of the live stream. It's very strange, mate. I don't know why. Yeah, I found YouTube playing up a bit lately. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that something's amiss. Strange hackers, who knows? Who knows? I get mackerel in olive oil. It takes a bit of doing, but I drink what's left of instant gag reflex there, mate. Just the thought of it. But just know that I don't look much like a fucking wizard, do I? Just know that the olive oil that you get in with your mackerel, because I've got some as well, right? It's going to be the cheapest, shittiest blend of olive oil you could ever imagine, you know, to the point where they can only just loosely call it olive oil. Now, I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil, good quality olive oil, right? And yeah, it's going to be a challenge. It could, we don't know how long this is going to last for, you know. So it could be quite problematic because I use it every single day. Every day. I take it every day. And because I don't eat fish, I have to take cod liver oil, you know, high strength cod liver oil as well. It's I get, yeah, the girls eat a lot of mackerel, and it's something that I've stocked up so much of because it's just so good for you. All those oils, all those omega acids, fatty acids, so good for you, especially for your brain. And we need our brains to be sharper now than they've ever been, ever, you know. But better in cheap olive oil than nasty sunflower oil, you know. Far right, and the other insults have bothered me long. Exactly, it's water off a duck's back now. It doesn't bother us, you know. Again, I do struggle. I've not been on a march for ages now because there's no one to back. So our Annie, she's going to a Britain First march in Manchester tomorrow morning, and I would have gone, but I'm just suspicious about Britain First, you know. So I'm not going to follow a party march for a party that is dodgy. And again, the UKIP marches, they're a very, very sad, sorry state. They are, you know. He's just not got the kahunas to run that party. But again, I'm having arguments with people online. That's a bit better, I think. And they're all going on about Rupert Lowe and stuff. Oh my God, look at fucking state of me. Rupert Lowe, you know, and I just put, you're just basically clambering from one potential fake hero to another potential fake hero. And I've put, it's pathetic to watch. I'm done with pussyfooting around with people now. You know, I go in hard and I go in tough. And because I know the truth, they can't argue with me. And I try and put it across in a way where I'm backing up my comments and backing them up with the truth. But yeah, these people, if you're constantly looking for a savior, then you're too weak to stand on your own. You're far too weak to stand on your own. And that's not how we need to be. We need to be able to stand on our own. And these people have just basically seen that Tice wasn't what he made out to be. And then Farage took over and he's turned out to be the opposite of what they thought he was, you know. So all they're doing is going from one sinking ship to another fake ass party that is fake, you know. It's Reform 2.0. Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. It's all talk. And again, if they, what the fuck? They look like some sort of like, you know, late 70s, early 80s glam rock fucking on the washed up on the beach guy now. I'm going to leave this for now. Yeah. But I am going to need to put an hat on because my head gets cold. It's amazing how insulated people's heads are when they've got hair. I'm just a little bit cold and I don't like being cold. Again, these man snoods, which is what I call them, you know, they're brilliant. You can use them for they fit away into nothing. They weigh nothing, you know. Put them in your bug out bag. Buy some in, put them in your bug out bag for collecting all of the debris on the top of your water whilst you're purifying water. Keep your head warm. You can use it as a tourniquet. There's loads of different ways you can wear it on your head. You can undo it, bring it down and wear it around your neck to keep your neck warm. You know, they're brilliant. And if you go wild camping and you want a bit of a lie-in, you just bring it down over your eyes and then double it up. So it blocks out all the light. Just carry on kipping, listening to the dawn chorus. They're brilliant. I've got quite a few of these. Right, where's my glasses? Because I can't read fuck all without them. And I've gone through another screen on my phone, so I had to get my phone repaired. I had to get my screen repaired, and that happened as I was looking for my 3310. It's not a 3210. And the entire screen just separated from the phone. It was fucked. I know you don't like fish. I've trained myself to like it. I buy a decent olive oil too. You can tell the difference. Yes, you can, mate. I know that I need to get my head around the whole fish thing. I know I do, because I've got a lot of it. And I know it's good for me, especially mackerel. Yeah. Yeah, I just need to, it's just the smell of it, mate. It just smells so bad, so bad. Omega oils are fantastic. Yes, they are. They're extremely good for us. Your body will love you for it. Your body's designed to absorb that, you know. It's specifically designed to take on these. It helps your body function. So it's a necessary part of our diet. But just unfortunately, it's a smell. It's a smell. There's like this criteria of 3. If it looks nice, smells nice, tastes nice. If I can get 2 out of those 3, ideally all 3, right? Oh, there is a 4th. Is it good for me? You know? So if I can get 3 out of that 4, then it's plain sailing. But it's the smell. The smell is so overwhelmingly bad that I can't put it in my mouth and swallow it. I can't. But I know some people that have overcome that by doing what you've done, Dave. You know, because you're either a fish eater or you're not. I mean, my dad. There was a moment where I was thinking, oh, we are so much alike, Dad. It was like, oh, I can't eat fish. No. But I don't mind salmon, and I don't mind tuna. And I'm thinking, there's no one I'm willing to put my arse on the line for by marching. The missus and daughter need to hear in case SHTF not locked up. Yeah, I've that's one of the reasons why I've not gone on any of these marches, not just because of the fact that I think they're sort of pointless, really. You know, where's it getting us? Nowhere. So not only do I see these marches as pointless, it's the people doing the marches, you know, our government. So I could put something in the post section that would be very, very interesting in regards to the government, in regards to the system, you know, and it will probably get about 50 likes over a week, right? If I put anything in the short section, a short video that is in any way, shape or form related to division, I can get thousands of likes, thousands of views. It's all about division. I love sardines. Sal used to love that. Sal loved sardines on toast, which she was mindful of the fact that I didn't like it. So I'd just go, I'll leave you to it, sweetheart. I'll crack on with doing some bits and bobs around the house, you know, just so I didn't have to be anywhere near it. I'm not as bad as I was, you know. But it just smells so bad. Unless the rules have changed, prisoners catch lead in the SHTF scenario. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be it's a dog eat dog world anyway. It's just that we've been living in a world where everything's just convenient and everything's just there, you know. And if you've got something that people want, aka food, and you've let it slip somehow, or they've suspected something or whatever, or you've just dropped a line with a few people, and it's, you know, they'll remember, and you need to defend what you've got. They aren't your problem. If they didn't think ahead, if they didn't put plans in place to kind of reduce the amount of stress by having spare food knocking around, giving themselves a chance to take a breath and work out where they're going to move to next, you know, they're not your problem, you know. You should just be looking out for your nearest and dearest. And, you know, going back to the whole black beans thing, I have mine in portion sizes. So you could be buying these black beans in and putting them in bigger bags, because you can, a lot of you are feeding families. I'm not feeding a family. It's just me and my girls. And I promised Sally that I would make sure that Reese would be fed. But I don't want Reese then going, oh, well, I need my missus to be fed. I'm like, right. And her kids. And then it snowballs. And I've made it very clear to him, very, very clear to him, that I'll feed you to make sure that you are all right, because I made a promise to your mum. There isn't a share. You haven't got a share, because he knows what I've been doing. He hasn't got a share in this. I'll just be feeding him. This stuff is mine. I've grafted for it. I've done so much research. He knows what I've been doing. He knows why I'm doing it. So if he's not putting things into place off the back of my advice and seeing at first hand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and he's still not doing anything, you know, I'll feed him. That's it. On top of the fact that I let me get a top up because it's, yeah, let me just get a top up. So primarily, you are prepping for yourselves, nobody else. And then as you start to get a feel for what's happened and what's happening at an SHTF, from the comfort of your own home, you can then figure out who you want to help and who you don't. Who you're going to benefit by helping and who you're not. These are all things that you need to be planning way ahead now, as opposed to when the cookie crumbles. Oh, I need to put a fleece on, you know, it's so cold. And the heating's on, you know, what the fuck? Oh. I'm looking less and less and less hippie as we go along. You see, it's Christmas present a lot. I don't know if anyone's ever tried Kraken rum. Beautiful, very, very nice. So I've got a couple of miniature bottles of Kraken rum that I'm going to fill up with rum, dark rum, and put them away, you know. And then there were 2 bottles that came with it. One was an organic Coca-Cola, believe it or not, and the other one was an organic, like a tonic that went with it. So I smashed my way through all of that. It was Christmas, you know, but the bottles I've utilised, you know, so that's got vodka in it. But you know, in the loft, I've got vodka set aside, brandy, whiskey, and I need to get some rum. Just so I've got a nice wide variety, because these are great things to barter with. And if you can't you can't get anything from the shop. Again, there's people. There are preppers out there, with prepping channels going, make sure you've got loads and loads of cash on hand in case the power goes. Get what you can whilst you can get it. Because if people can't afford to buy food for their kids, or they've been paying by the phone, bleep, you know, for the last fucking 5 years, a tard, then, and if anyone's paying with their phone, you're just part of the problem. You really are. But these people don't carry cash around with them anymore. And if push comes to shove, even if there's security on the doors of the shop, they'll just go in and ransack it. So this is why we prepare, so we don't need to be part of all that chaos. Like I've said before, you know, the Black Friday events that they used to have, I've seen loads of footage of people just trampling, just people just going, the sheer force of the people behind them as they open the door, people have just gone down and just got trampled to death in some cases, you know, and that's for a fucking telly. You imagine the lengths that people will be prepared to go to for food to feed their family. Ah, mad world. Anyway. I have a ton of hot sauces put away. Not only are they good for taste in bland food, great for bacteria or watered down in vinegar and in a super soaker. Yeah, I've got a couple of super soakers, mate. You know, and I've got some ghost chili paste to go in that. Again, when you start thinking right outside the box, as far as defending yourself, defending your home, defending your preps, you won't believe what you can come up with. You won't believe, honestly. I genuinely can take again, there are so many variables to throw into so many different situations. But potentially, I could take 10 people out with stuff I've got that's all legal, and then pick the rest off. I've not gone through everything I've just gone through over the last 5-6 years to allow someone to come along and take it all away. That's not happening. I've only been to one march, the one with you, Terry, in Birmingham, and it's a cherished memory forever with me. Oh, that's lovely, Michael. It is for me, you know. Again, you know, it probably wasn't very wise of me to peel off because I wanted to buy you and Annie a pasty, and I peeled off into Birmingham city centre away from the police protection with a massive big George cross on my back, and then getting clocked by a couple of packies on a bench. One was quite fat, the other one was really, really skinny. They reminded me like a packy version of Laurel and Hardy. And I'd walk past them. I'd got my pasties, you know, like really walking back up to where Britain First was, and I noticed these packies on this bench, and they shouted me as I'd passed. They shouted me back, and I love a debate. You know, I'm more than happy to have a debate with anyone. I could learn something from a debate. You could learn from something from a debate. This is why they don't have debates in schools anymore, because it encourages critical thinking. They don't do it. It used to be normal. So I spun round and went back over to him. And the skinny one, they were both going on like, what's that all about, mate? They didn't talk like that. They talked pretty much like me, to be fair. What's all that up there? And I'm like, oh, it's a Britain First march. Aren't they racist? Not really. You know, they just love England, you know, and all of its traditions, and we're watching this all being eroded away. And then the skinny one turned around and said, have you heard about the white, all of the white people in a grooming gang? I'm like, no, I haven't heard that at all. I've heard a lot about grooming gangs, you know. Sometimes you don't need to say things. They know where they know where you're coming from. And he just says, yeah, there's a white grooming gang. There's loads of white grooming gangs. And I went, get it up on your phone then. You know, and he was fucking about. He was panicking because he wanted to back himself up with proof. And it wasn't forthcoming. Not that they don't exist, because there are white grooming gangs out there, but they're not as prolific as Pakistani men. So I ended up just like, anyway, I'll leave you to it, lads. I'm going back, right? And I went back and joined the march, joined the protest, or it was at the end of a march. It was the final destination of the march, and then all the speakers and all of that came out and said what they needed to say and stuff like that, right? Little did I know that these two packies had followed me and were looking for me, and it was on someone's YouTube channel, and it showed you in both, well, one of them getting nicked, the big one getting nicked. I'm pretty sure that because I walked away from that conversation victorious, and left them in the gutter where they fucking belong, they came looking for me, you know. But one of the problems, let me get on top of this. But I'm glad you enjoyed that, Michael. It was very memorable. Yeah, very. It was lovely. But I don't like Britain First's connection to Tommy Robinson and all of that bollocks. I just, yeah, like I said, there isn't the. Fair play to, it's his responsibility to prepare for his family. It's everyone's responsibility to prepare for their family. Everyone's, you know, as an adult, we are responsible for our own destiny to some degree. You know, we're responsible for our own fuck ups. We can't blame other people. And he knows what I've been doing, so he should be doing the same as him next door. You know, we've always got plenty of food in. That's a direct quote. So I've got them, they'll be knocking on my door, you know. The only people that anyone should be looking after are dependents, because they are dependents. It's in the word. They depend on you. They haven't got their own money to buy food. They haven't, you know, they can't do this, they can't do that. Anyone that's vulnerable should be considered. But your main priority is you. And it's not a selfish thing. It's not. Our brain's working harder than other people's, plus age showing signs. Yeah, I mean our minds they don't shut the fuck up. We're on a constant quest for the truth, and because of that, we need more sleep. We need to give our brains a rest, and trying to sleep when you've got so much going on in your head. That can be quite a challenge for people like us. Like I said, I go into the comments section of various videos, and they're all like shouting from the rooftops about Rupert Lowe and that. And I feel quite bad about when Ruth mentioned it last week and said, "Don't shoot the messenger. What do you think about Rupert Lowe joining this party and creating this party?" And I just gave her an honest answer, but I hope I haven't offended her by the way that I went about answering that question, you know. So I really like Ruth, you know, she's lovely. She's so lovely. She's been with me right from the start. She's one of my first subscribers in the first 5, you know. But it's just, I just wish people would stop just looking around for another hopium hit, you know. Hopium is synthetic hope. And I've always said this, you know. You are going to save you. You are. Look in the mirror. It's you. You are. You know. And if everyone took that attitude, and they should, right? it would bring around, we'd get over that hill a lot quicker with fewer casualties. Yeah, there's a lot of very, very naive people out there. Reform is shit. Tice is a bastard. And now Farage is a bastard. He don't give a fuck. He don't care. He's not getting rid of anyone. Oh, Rupert Lowe's saying what we like to hear. He's saying everything that we want to hear. Let's get behind him. Yeah, it was only a few years ago that they were getting behind Farage. We're not going to vote our way out of this, guys. Like I said, there's only two options on the table. One is mass non-compliance, and the other one is a revolution. And the revolution will be bloody and violent. But maybe that's what we need. You know, we've tried. You know, all of these fucking pointless petitions that have gone out. Harsh language, marches, demonstrations, protests. Where's it got us? Nowhere. They're steaming ahead regardless. Now they are going to make it more and more and more and more difficult for us. They are. The more desperate they get, the harder it's going to be for us. Which is why we prepare. And stocking up on cayenne pepper, not one for too much heat though. Right, well, cayenne pepper, again, if you end up with a gash, right, on your hand or wherever, right, if you've got some really, really, really good quality cayenne pepper, pour that directly onto the wound, onto the gaping wound, and then bandage it up. If you've got nothing else, bandage it up. Again, people are like, that's going to fucking hurt like hell. It's already hurting like hell. But cayenne pepper has healing properties that are very, very powerful. So, and that's why I've got shitloads of the stuff. Yeah. My daughter spoiled me at Christmas with some pepper X hot sauces from the US. Loony hot stuff, millions of Chauvilles of heat, millions. Love it. You know, again, add that to water. Buy, or if you've already got a pressurized, you know, something that you'd use for sort of like weeding, that sort of thing, you know. Yeah, just dilute that hot pepper sauce into that, pump away, get as much pressure as you can, spray, 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 spray. You know, no one gets killed, but that will give you give you an opportunity to subdue them further, if you know what I mean. If they're coming at you, you go at them. Them two Muppets got arrested. Looking back, I should have gone with you, but I'm all right on me, mate. I do. Look, I don't have it. Look, everyone's got an ego. I suppose I have got an ego, like, but it's buried. It's buried. It is. I posted a video in the post section, and I think I might have sent it to you directly, Michael. About our awakening process, you know, coming down that hill, falling down that hill, and then bash, bash, smash, 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 relinquish the ego, get rid of the ego, and then bang, bang, smash, 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 smash. It's a really, really good visual analogy of my waking up process. Very, very good. It's in the post section if you want to have a look. But yeah, I mean, I separated myself from the protection of the police and all of that. But I've, you know, there's a big difference between confidence and ego, a massive, massive difference. People get those two words mixed up so fucking often. It's ridiculous and sad and annoying. Self-confidence is a good thing as long as it ties in with self-respect. If you've got self-respect and self-confidence, that's a great combination as long as there isn't any ego involved. And I walked down, you know, looking for a Greggs away from all of that protection, knowing that I was in a city that is only something like 47% white on average. I knew that, but I was confident. If there was any confrontation, I would have dealt with it. You know, I would have dealt with them. No problem. No problem. So don't feel bad about not following me, mate. I had it, you know, I was on it. It's okay. It was fine. You know, I take the girls out, you know, where these people could jump out and stab me and rob me. You know, I walk out with the girls at night time, and they do their nighttime work every night. And I never ever feel nervous. I do think the fact that they built the bridge over from what will be the barracks for the fucking cockroaches over onto where I take the girls for a walk at night, that's added an extra layer of precautionary measures, if you know what I mean. But even then, you know, middle of summer, getting dark or is dark, if I bump into a group of them, I've also trained my girls to behave a certain way on certain commands, which would bring up momentary confusion, and that's when I'd get stuck in. So no fear, no fear. But I just feel sorry for the other people that might be used to, you know, because when you take your girls out for a walk in the same place, you know, you get to familiarize with people. And because I try not to stick to a fixed regime, I don't have a pattern, if you know what I mean. So I'll take them out during the day, in the morning, in the afternoon, as long as it's light, right? And then I'll take them out in the evening. That could be 8:30, 9, 10, 11, midnight. You know, I don't have a pattern. You know, try and avoid being predictable, right? So because the time that I take my dogs out for a walk is so incredibly varied, I get to meet people that take their dogs out at a specific time, you know? So I get to meet loads and loads of faces that I recognize walking their dogs. And a lot of them are single women. Now, there's what I call first path, which is what is considered to be a tow path, which is a canal side walk. Then there's like a hedge. Then there's what I call second path, and you can do a full lap on that, or 2 or 3 laps on that, you know, whatever. Then there's third path, which is part of second path if you're doing a circular. Now, third path, you're away from anyone that can hear you scream. You're away from anyone that can hear you shout. And I've got at least 5, 6 women in particular in my head, right, that take their dogs out, even when it's getting dark, on third path. So if these cockroaches that have got a high sex drive, but no one to spend it on, and not very good impulse control, it's a problem waiting to happen. But I've already put in a foundation for people to manage it. Can't really say much more than that, you know. But if we hear of one rape down there, we'll know who, and that will be the kick up the arse the community needs to make them feel unwelcome. Folks like those two can never back up their nonsense one-on-one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they work in troops like chimpanzees. Just, you know, the whole one-on-one thing. But you do see the whole one-on-one thing, and I've seen a lot of these puma trackers, as the rhyming slang would be, of them attacking men, Irish men in Ireland, and because I have trained to some degree in martial arts, I've recognised some of those kicks and some of those punches as being trained. So, and then I've done a little bit of a deeper dive, and they are training the cockroaches to fight. Yeah, most of the, you know, especially men around my age, are so unfit. Yet we are the generation that's going to be desperately needed to get us through this and get us over the other side of the hill. Yeah, everyone's so unfit and miserable, and a lot of them are, you know, quite defeatist, and it's not good. We don't need that. The younger men of our great nations need inspiring by people that have got wisdom, and people that have got wisdom need to be fit, healthy, and a role model, you know. And that's another thing, you know. Palestine Action has been prescribed as a terrorist organization, just for putting a bit of paint on a plane and making people aware of this genocide in Gaza. That's their crime, you know. Yet you've got the Muslim Brotherhood alive and well in this country that actually would fit the description of a terrorist organization, but they're not being touched. No one's doing a fucking thing about that. I can regularly get by with 4 hours sleep, but when it catches up with me, I can sleep until late afternoon. Yeah, I'm the same, mate. We do need to give our brains a break, and sleep is very, very good for us. Sleep's amazing for us. You need quality sleep. Everyone needs quality sleep. Good quality sleep is paramount, because it's not just giving your brain a rest. It's taking that time out when your blood pressure has gone down, your heart rate's gone down, your breathing has gone down, and it goes to work on repairs, you know, repairs and yeah. I found creatine helps a lot with missed sleep. I'm sure I've got some of that. Let me just check. so cold. Hey, Michael, it's that kind of cold. What's the other mineral that's really, really good for you? There's several versions of it. They're all equally, especially when combined, they're very, very, very good for you. And they can help with sleep and mood regulation. And I've forgotten what they are. Wild garlic is the king of this particular. It'll come to me. But I have used creatine. Yeah. The bottle that I thought was creatine was actually niacin or niacin. And I didn't realize that I'd bought that because I thought I needed it, when it can be found, if you've got a half decent, healthy diet, it can be found in most of the food items that you buy. So you don't really need it. And I bought a high strength bottle of it. And every day I was taking it, and I'm like, my fucking face is on fire, within 20 minutes of taking it. And about 2 weeks later, I looked in the mirror and my face was bright red with loads of little tiny white dots all over it. So I'd had a niacin overdose, didn't need it. I take at least 10 grams a day. Yeah, it's good. If it goes to a full-on revolution, the gloves are off. No quota asked, no quota given. It's in a revolution. You see, one of the problems we've got is that we've got a government that's pitting Christianity against Islam, pitting Christianity against Judaism, and then vice versa in all of that as well. It's all about divide and conquer. It would be ideal if we could get the Muslims on side. The Sikhs would be on our side by default. The Hindus would be on our side by default. The Muslims, they just want to take our country over. And as long as I'm breathing, I'll never allow that to happen. And I think everyone else should be the same, Give them an inch. There's already parts of London where you've got blokes walking around in what looks like a fucking dress with pajama bottoms on, matching, just walking around, telling white British women to cover up. Well, that's not all of it, Well, these are areas now that are, operating under Sharia law, and this country has nothing to do with Sharia law. Ideally, it would be good to get the Muslims on side and get them to realize that we are not the problem. It's our government and their handlers that's the problem. So all join together, fight back, and then when we've got over the other side of this hill, we can sort our problems out with them, and that'll be messy, but at least we can do things in 2 goes. So there's something called ethno-nationalism, and it's a very controversial state of mind and movement, really. So if you don't, if you're not from here, you get sent away. If you're not white, you get sent away. Now, I don't know where I am with that, because it's a tough one, because there are people like Paki Paul, who's not a Paki, and his name's not Paul. His name's Raj. He's a Hindu, and I really like him. He's got a really, really good vibe about him. He's got a really nice aura, he's a nice guy, a really nice, genuine guy, always smiling, always chilled out, you know, really, really nice guy. And then we've got the Sikhs. The Sikhs have fought shoulder to shoulder with us for at least 200 years. So, yeah. You know, ethno-nationalists are all about removing anybody that isn't white British, white Scottish, white Welsh, white Irish, and just get rid of them, get them out of the country. Now, my oldest sister is half Indian. My youngest sister is married to a Jamaican yardie, and both her kids are mixed race. So, I mean, would that mean them going back to a country that they've never known? You know, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? It's such a tough one. I'm all about mass deportations, all about that. I'm a massive believer and supporter of that. I am, because this country's become so fucking diluted. It's a mongrel country, and everywhere a lot of these people settle just turns into an absolute shithole. They make it more and more disgusting, and then more and more pile in there. There's no assimilation. You know, there's no embracing of our way of life, our culture. None of that. They just move in, and then more people move in until they take over an area. They're a very dominant ideology. And they're not the only one. Islam's got a sister. No, Islam's got a mother. And that mother created Islam as a weapon. Why have a dog and bark yourself? I hope you got that analogy. Black pepper and turmeric would be a good mix with cayenne. Right. You're right, but you know, I just want to I'm going to go up a little bit so I don't lose anybody, because it will stop going down on my screen then, right? So Lana insisted that this is going off subject, and I'll come back on it again. I will, right? So Lana recommended this drink to me, right? And I was like, doesn't sound very nice. And she said, trust me, in a beautiful little Scottish accent, right? So I cracked on, followed all the instructions to the letter, right? And what I ended up with was a very, very, very healthy and beautiful tasting nighttime beverage. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but you fill a mug with milk. Maybe just look at the timestamp and then go back to this timestamp now, right? So you can listen to what I'm saying. So make a note of the timestamp, because I highly recommend this to you. It's good for you. So fill a mug with milk so you know what size vessel you're going to be pouring it all back into. right? So a decent sized mug of milk, pour the milk into a blender. If you've not got a blender, if you've got an electric whisk, or you've got loads of elbow grease and you've got an old school analog whisk, give it some, give it some. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of powdered ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of black pepper. Blend for about 30 seconds, or whisk for about 30 seconds. Really give it some, because you need to match that blender. Pour into a pan. Wait until it rises, because milk's got a habit of doing that. It just goes up and up and up and then over. Wait until it gets to the top of the pan. Remove it from the heat. And then pour it into, and then in the mug, put 1 teaspoon of honey, good quality honey, 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and then pour the hot milk into that mug, and then stir the shit out of it. Leave it for 30 seconds, stir the shit out of it again, and then give it a go. It sounds gross, but believe me, that's what I thought. And I gave it a go, and I just felt so chilled out, but in a clean way, not a lethargic way, just relaxed. I was able to sleep from that one nighttime beverage. Been stocking up with black pepper and turmeric as well, ordering some capsules next week. Good on you, Jordan. Honestly, mate, if I showed you how many capsules I take every day, right, you'd be like, what the fuck? But I feel good. I feel like I'm providing my body with so many things that we've been missing for so long, because there's just no goodness in the food that we buy anymore. So you start making your own supplements and maybe eating a few more bananas and a few more bits of fruit, try and get better vegetables, stuff like that. Again, I'll always revert back to, you've got organic food out there for free. You just need to learn to identify it, learn to forage, learn to build up your mental library of edible and medicinal food that you can go out and just pick. You can just find it. Nearly everyone walks past nettles, and nettles is a superfood. It's a superfood. Sorry, darling. Sorry. I mean, I would highly recommend that you buy this book, and I'm sure that there are more than 101 uses for it. But once you understand just how powerful the stinging nettle is, it's fucking everywhere. Look, I'm aware that there are going to be some of you that live like smack bang in the middle of a very, very, very well built up city centre, right? I understand. But there must be some sort of green open space somewhere that's got nettles, Get picking them. Very, very, very good for you. There's definitely something up with when there's tens of thousands on the watch list, but nothing is being done. Exactly, But you're paying attention, Dave. I'm paying attention. We're seeing all this. So many people out there all kind of like locked away in their little fucking bubble, not paying attention, not asking questions, not thinking critically. It's so blatant to us. Yes, and plenty of them in prison running it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's mad. You can't make this shit up. You couldn't make it up. So again, the ethno nationalism is like the problem I've got is that I'm an all or nothing guy, right? In a relationship, you get all of me. If it's working and it's got lots and lots of potential, I will devote myself to a woman. I'll devote myself, right? I'm all or nothing. If I start on a bit of art, right? I won't. I might have to break it up into pieces, but I can't just leave it alone until I've finished it, right? I'm all or nothing in every single aspect of my life, all or nothing. So, but then I'm also aware of the fact that there are people in my own family, and there are also other people in this country that have really truly embraced our ways and our traditions that aren't from here, you know? So I am very, very torn with that. It's a tough one. It really is. But then, you know, sometimes extreme situations require extreme solutions, you know? But it's that the whole ethno nationalism thing is on the rise. It's not being suppressed. And the reason it's not being suppressed is because it's all about division, you know? And anything that's got anything to do with division, all of these platforms will promote it. They will. It makes us easier to control. Magnesium, that's it. Yeah. So I've got, I think there's 4 different, or there might be more. I think there might be more. But I mean, I've made supplements with magnesium, you know, and there's 3 different types of magnesium. Is it cellate, magnate, and oh fucking hell, there's too much in there, too much. But that can help you regulate your mood and stuff like that. And I've made my own supplements. And again, with magnesium, you can get that from wild garlic, and that'll grow anywhere that's even shady, you know, as long as it's damp and shady, it's happy. I've had a Hindu and Sikh. I've had Hindu and Sikh mates. Most are nice from my experience. Exactly, Dave. You know, they've come over to this country. I mean, the Sikhs, you know, they fought wars with us, so they're a warrior people. But you won't. There's you know, a ridiculously small amount of Sikhs in this country, which when you take into account the fact that the Sikhs were prominent in fighting wars with us, whilst we had India within the British not Commonwealth. Oh, you know what I mean, right? The amount of actual Sikhs that live in this country are very, very small, very small. In fact, let me give you some stats. It's sad. It's sad. It's not good, but they are warriors, you know, and they will stand on the side of us. What is the Sikh population in England? Half a million, just over half a million. I was going to say that. Just over half a million, 0.9% of the population. What percentage of the UK is Muslim? 6.5. What percentage of the UK are indigenous? 74.4 to 81.7%. So don't lose faith. We are still a massive majority. Now, unless they start bringing them over from Calais and Dunkirk in cruiser ships, then we still have enough of a majority to be able to deal with anyone that doesn't want to live by our rules, our ways, our laws, our traditions, our culture. If they're not up for it, then we fucking deal with them. But the problem is the strategy, because these people have got strongholds now. I mean, I bought my car from Bradford. It was a very fucking depressing experience, you know? So further down the line, who knows? There could be an organization, there could be a mindset, who knows, where they just get on the outskirts and start picking them off. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not inciting violence here. I'm just expressing thoughts. That's all. I'm in agreement with you there, David. Absolute agreement with you. You know, fuck them off. We're not benefiting from them, you know, and they keep shagging their own family. So we've got loads of low IQ fuckwits anyway. And then we've got loads of I suppose I can use the word retarded when it comes to them, you know. That are being paid for and looked after by the taxpayer. That's 70% of us. I think you can draw the line at how you view British values. If you're against them, you shouldn't be here. I totally agree. And again, if you can't speak English, fuck off. If you commit a crime and you're not from here, fuck off. But again, this is the sort of language that we've got coming from Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe. Again, I'm saying it from a place of sincerity with no hidden agenda. I've got no hidden agenda. You've known me long enough, right? Whereas Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib have an agenda. It's all about distracting you along the way. You know, to try and keep you engaged with party politics, which has failed and will always fail. We are not going to be able to vote our way out of this madness. The sooner everyone gets their fucking head around that, the better. But I've had plenty of mates who are brown and black. So have I. Like I said, I've got that in my family, you know. That I don't want gone. I know, that's what I mean. It's like, where'd you draw the line? Where'd you draw the line at preventing our nations, our sovereign nations, from becoming irreversibly mongrel to the point where we eventually become the minority in our own country? Where'd you draw the line? At what point do you go, all right, fuck it, that's enough? Who do we keep? Who do we send back? It's a very, 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 very tricky one. Very complicated indeed. They are happy joining in as a part and parcel of the country. That's what I mean. If you fit in with our ways, again, look, I did post something in the short section. There was a guy saying, Right, I've just come to settle down in China. I quite like it here. Not too keen on the food. Need to change that. We need to get rid of this fried duck and beef in black bean fucking sauce, and we need pie and mash and gammon and chips. And you know, can we implement that? Can we get that in there, sorted out? No problem. No. Oh, okay. Right. Well, I've come over here illegally. I'm aware of that, and I know it's not how you normally do things. I know you've got processes in place, but I know that I just need some money. I need some free money. Can you sort me out with some free? No. Oh, okay. Right. Oh, fucking hell, this is hard work. Right. Well, I need somewhere to live. I've come over and I've got nowhere to fucking live. So you're going to sort me out with some digs or what? No. Oh, okay. Well, that's a shame, because obviously I want to bring all my family over, and not just my fucking family, my family's family. We need to bring them all over. We need to be together. You know what I mean? How you fixed for that? Can you sort it out for me? No? Oh, okay. So if you went to China and put any of those fucking demands on China, you'd be fucked off or in jail. Yet that's all they're doing. It's like, right, okay, we settled in, we've taken over this part of the city. Our brothers have taken over all of Bradford, all of Luton. Oh, bloody, I'm losing track here. I'm losing track because I've got a low IQ, because my mom and my dad are brother and sister. We need to make sure that all of the meat in the whole country and then the whole world is halal. Barbaric slaughter of animals, right? Are any of you giving any money to the RSPCA? I've not heard them say a fucking word. Have you? The PDSA, however, is a different animal. That is worth considering donating to, right? But the RSPCA, fuck them. The RSPCA, the British Heart Foundation, the Royal Cancer Society, the RNL. Oh, do you want me to keep going and keep going? You know? Half of what I'm writing on my phone isn't fucking posting. I'm so sorry, Dave. It's nothing to do with me, brother. I've got absolutely no idea, mate. But it's a fresh live stream and everything. Hold on, verify that it's you. There's a little symbol here that's saying verify that it's you. And we just click on it and see what it wants me to do. Sign in again. No, you can fuck off. The live stream's working fine-ish. They're coming for you, Dave. I'm sure we're all on some sort of list. I think everyone in the whole world's on a list, apart from, some little kind of African man that's never seen technology in his life in a little mud hut in the middle of the, Saharan, or sub-Saharan desert or something like that, some little village, fucking massively remote village somewhere. They don't register their births. They don't sign their kids away at birth with a birth certificate. So they're outside of the the counting up of the population. Nettle tea with a touch of salt and pepper is lovely. I've never tried that. Not with salt and pepper. I like a little bit of sweetener. And again, one of the best sweeteners you can get is honey. Second best, but even better. I know that sounds weird, but second best, but even better is proper maple syrup. Especially if you struggle with your blood sugar levels and stuff like that. It's certainly going to be better than any artificial sweetener out there, and definitely better than sugar, you know. But honey and maple syrup have both they've got calories, proper useful calories, and other properties as well that are really good for you because they're natural, you know. Don't eat anything that's not real. The leaves are like young spinach too. Yeah, they are. They're really, really good for you. Honestly, I can't speak highly enough about nettles, and they are everywhere. They're everywhere. You know, there must be somewhere where everyone can go where they've seen nettles. And again, part of the whole this was a Rose Hippie Guy was and this channel was originally a city prepping channel. It's about coming up with solutions on how we can get our way through this fucking madness. Prepping in a city environment, whether you live in a 12th story flat or, you know, some little bungalow somewhere or whatever, you know. So it's just an absolute no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer that you get out there and you start to identify plants that everyone else is going to overlook. It could be a lifeline. Again, there might be new people listening to me now that's thinking, this guy's off his fucking rocker. He's not right in the head. Well, you won't be the first to think that or say that. Yeah, loads of inbreeding. It's acceptable. You know, it's all part of their thing, their fucked up thing. I really like my sister. Do you? He says, as he's got a fucking Muslim convert beard. You know? But and again, look, this is just another example, another prime example of how retarded that fucking ideology is, right? You've got white people, indigenous white people that are converting. Now, the Tate brothers, they've converted to Islam. Yet he wanted to run for mayorship in London, you know, when he's a Muslim convert. He's already a traitor by default. Why would we want to remove a traitorous, dirty, filthy, midget, little puma tracky cunt for a white Muslim convert? Why would we want to do that? But yeah, a lot. There are, you know, some people that have truly converted to Islam, but most of these people are people that are just losers. They're just losers. You know, there's two that spring straight to mind, and they're both big, fat, and ginger. No mates, no personality. I'm not saying that all ginger people have got no mates and no personality. I'm not saying that at all. I've had plenty of ginger friends, you know, plenty. I'm just saying that these are weak converts, just weak, you know, people that are so weak that they can't stand on their own. They need to be part of something. They can't operate on their own. the ideal balance that everyone should be aiming for would be to be completely and totally strong all by themselves, independent in every single aspect of their lives, whilst also being a pillar of their community and being part of the community. The balance, the middle bit that goes down the yin yang. Well, these are weak. These are all weak fucktards. They're all retarded. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. Generation after generation, century after century of inbreeding, you know? When we were on holiday in Devon, the missus stopped me from having a pop at the Royal Lifeboat Society on the promenade. They were asking for donations. They're part of the problem. Yeah, I went to Cornwall I think it was early last year, and I went to this beautiful little village that was on the sea, you know, and there were RNLI canvassers there because there was an RNLI station there, and they didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue. Well, they did by the time I'd walked away, you know. And then there's been a recent story in Dorset about, you know, the residents of a community coming together because they were earmarked, their local council that they're paying council tax to, and earmarked X amount of money towards the RNLI, which is meant to be completely charity based. And they all kicked off. Let me see if I can just find the story very, very quickly. And I'm wondering if I can put it into the chat for you to read later on. But again, you've got communities popping up left, right, and centre going, hold on, we're fucking sick of this shit, sort it out. Loads of communities. And if you get the opportunity to sit in on a council meeting, a local council meeting, whilst you can, do it. Dorset County Council opposed by the locals for RNLI contributions. What a mouthful. In February 2026, the Christchurch Residents Association, or the CRA, in Dorset, rejected a 200 quid, rejected a £200 donation to the RNLI, citing fears that funds would support a taxi service for small boat migrants in the Channel. The move triggered significant backlash, leading to protests at the RNLI's Poole headquarters, but also prompted counter fundraising efforts that raised thousands for the charity. So not only did they not get their 200 quid, all of the people that were had some sort of subscription payment into the charity was stopped. People that used to go and put money into the RNLI, it raised awareness, you know? So the beginning of the end of the RNLI as a charity is becoming, you know, it's coming to an end. And I'm glad, you know, traitorous cunts. But how can we do that with our Navy? Oh, just remembered, got a kilo of dried dandelions, dried dandelion coming soon. We'll probably need a drop of honey in that long. Mate, go out and get your own. Get your own. It's free. and you'll know exactly where it's come from. You'll know that it's 100% organic. It's not been around any other pesticides or anything like that. Pick your own. Got loads of dandelions growing in my garden, substantial ones, and I will never, ever, ever destroy them because they are very, very, very good. And if you mix dandelion roots with rosemary, fresh rosemary, that combination, if it's combined correctly, has the same effects on the body as an anti-inflammatory as ibuprofen. Everything we need is out there. Everything. It's all down to research, having an open mind, and giving it a go. The whole point of this is to try and etch our way more and more and more and more out of the system and into a system that runs concurrent with it until everyone catches up, you know, trying to be as self-sufficient for as long as you possibly can. I mean, some people need things like omeprazole because their stomach lining is so weak because of excessive medications and a shit diet and all of that, right? That they need omeprazole and lansoprazole to line their stomach just to get ibuprofen in their belly. You couldn't make this shit up. As soon as you said kilo there, Dave, I've got 3 kilos of copper on the way, and that's it. I'm done. That'll put me at a significant amount of copper. And if anyone's paying attention to the metals market, it's only going to go up and up and up because they can't get it out of the ground quick enough. Same as silver. You can't just print it. You know, silver and copper. Platinum is cheaper than gold, but it's not that highly sought after. Not really. It's mainly there for jewelry. It's not got that many uses. It has got some, but not that many uses in industry. And then palladium, again, that's another one. Similar story. So gold, silver, and copper. But it's going to need a bit of a tidy up when I get it back. So I might lose an ounce or 2 off it, but it'll make it more saleable further down the line, you know. They promise them a wife if they convert. Does he? Fuck me. I didn't know that. Thanks for that incentive, Michael. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, I'm fucking sorted, mate. I'm going to get my missus. I'm going to get a missus. Oh, I'm so fucking chuffed, Michael. I'm going to get myself a missus. I've already got the beard, you know. I'm going to get myself a missus. Yeah, shit's up. Shit's up. Thanks for that inspiration. You'll need a drink after a kilo of dandelion. You would, because it's a diuretic, but it's a good diuretic. You've got good diuretics and you've got bad diuretics. Diuretics move through your liver and your kidneys, right? Now dandelion is a diuretic, but it's a good diuretic because it goes into your liver and your kidneys and it cleanses them, right? It flushes them, but flushes them really, really well. Whereas alcohol, high caffeine tea, high caffeine coffee, it goes through your liver and your kidneys really, really fast. Doesn't do anything, not really. So there are good diuretics and bad diuretics, and caffeine's a bad diuretic and alcohol is a bad diuretic. You end up losing more fluid than you're putting in, you know? So you end up with more wrinkles, more bags under your eyes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, if I've missed you, Jordan, I do apologise, mate. You know how I get. But have a great weekend, my friend, and thank you for joining us tonight. Much love, brother. I don't. Do you know what, Michael? I think part of it is that I think we're kind of marked. You know, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Trends Journal with Gerald Celente. The information that that man puts out and the points that that man puts forward and the passion that he's got. He's a good man. He's a good man. The Trends Journal, Trends Journal. And he's been on the nose about so many things, absolutely spot on about so many predictions in the stock markets and all of that. But he's all about peace and love. So he gets very fucking angry, right? And I'm sat there watching one of his live streams and there'll be like 25 people. And he's got 10 times the amount of subscribers that I've got. Maybe 20, 30 times more, you know? And there'll be 25 people in that live stream because it's not being pushed. So, but to be honest with you, Michael, the fact we've gone down to 4 now, it doesn't really matter to me. I've never been about likes and subscribers and all of that. I've never been about that. So it doesn't bother me that there's just 4 of us now. It doesn't bother me. I'm fine with it. It would be nicer to have a few more because it would open, we're sharing knowledge and we're sharing information and ideas and perspectives on things that could help other people to open their minds and see things in a different way. And, you know, so that's the only, yeah, it would be nice to have a few more, but having 4 people doesn't put me off. It doesn't faze me at all. You know, it doesn't bother me because it's the Rose Hippie Guy channel and this channel. It's never been about that. So, where are we? My garden has tons of dandelions, nowhere near ready to pick though. Will harvest my own when the plants are ready. Good on you, Dave. It's definitely, it's an incredible plant, mate. You know, you might not be able to get nettles to grow in your garden because that is a bit of a bastard. That is a challenge. You need a very established colony generally, right? But dandelions, they'll fucking grow anywhere. They'll grow anywhere. You know, they're one of the toughest, most stubborn little bastards on the planet, and they're so good for us. And again, if you want to get out of drinking coffee and all the caffeine and that, and you should look into Starbucks, the chemicals that they're putting into their coffee, and then feeding that coffee to the general public at a premium price. It's like, oh, I love Starbucks coffee. I won't drink it anywhere. I won't drink coffee anywhere else because it's proper coffee. No, it's not. The chemicals that they're putting in to extract the caffeine or to increase the caffeine and all manner of stuff. There's about 4 or 5 different chemicals that they put in there, and it's vile stuff. It's dangerous stuff. It's carcinogenic stuff. And they don't pay any corporation tax. Why is that? Because they're part of the system. They're part of the Kill 'em Softly depopulation program. It's as simple as that. Whereas with dandelion root, if you roast it lightly, you know, don't burn it, but roast it and then grind it up, it's a coffee substitute. It's very, very similar. It's bizarre. Very, very similar. So you've got that. The whole plant's edible. The stem, the leaves, the flower, the roots, everything. The whole thing's like just like a sunflower. It's like a mini sunflower. The whole of a sunflower is edible. All of it, every single bit of it. So again, this is about building up your knowledge on what these plants can do for you and how they can benefit your life, and the fact that they grow everywhere. So everyone recognizes a dandelion, and the vast majority of the fucking normies out there be like, right, I'm going to go and get the Roundup spray, sweetheart, and kill them off. Or kill them off. Get rid of them once and for all. What they're doing is killing highly medicinal organic food. The fucking insanity of that. Those stomach lining tablets are really bad for you over time. Better staying natural. I totally agree with you. If you get indigestion or acid reflux or anything like that, a lot of people will reach for lansoprazole, for example, because it's instant heartburn relief. Oh, it's better than any Rennie, better than any Gaviscon, better than any of that shit, and it subdues it for God knows how long. But then you need to take a step back and think, right, why was I getting heartburn and reflux in the first place? I've noticed this every time I eat this particular type of food, right? Stop fucking eating it. And if you still get reflux, if you still get acid indigestion, just have a watered down half a pint of, and when I say watered down, I'm on about half a pint, half pint glass, that much apple cider vinegar in the bottom, swill it round, neck it. Within 5 minutes, your acid reflux is gone. So you've gone and taken acid reflux and then taken something that you would think would make it worse, neutralizes it because it's benefiting your gut biome as well. There's no need for any of these tablets. What time are we on? Oh, fuck me. Because I think we did about an hour and a half on the last one, and we're coming up to an hour and 50 minutes on this one. I've got to get up in the morning, you see, which is annoying because I'm flowing, and I don't like knocking it on the head when I'm flowing. But please believe me, it's got nothing to do with the fact there's only 4. I think, Michael, you know me well enough to know that it's got nothing to do with the amount of people that are watching. I said right from the start, I've got to get up early in the morning, So, yeah, we'll take it up to 2 hours, So I don't want to go, oh, right, okay, let's just close it down, bye-bye, and that's gone. I don't operate like that. I don't like that at all, So we 11 minutes ish. We'll keep going. But you are spot on, David. They're if you don't mind me calling you David, they are bad for you. The missus' new hobby seems to be searching online for vintage silver jewelry. She has a fair bit of luck so far. Oh, mate, that's fucking brilliant. It is. Because there are still loads and loads of normies out there that have absolutely no idea as to what's happening in the world of gold, silver, and copper, especially silver. They haven't got a clue. I've been trying to warn my dad for the last 2 years. Dad, he's got a very significant amount of money, right? And it's all invested. Now, he's put all that money into the hands of investors that don't give a fuck about him. I'm sorry, Barry. But yeah, you've made a loss. You've made a loss. All of the companies that we rolled a dice on with your money have all gone bust. So yeah, you're down a lot of money. 2 years ago, I was saying, Dad, buy gold, buy silver. Like, very set in his ways, very old-fashioned. Maybe part of him back then thought I'd lost my fucking shit mentally after losing Sal, when in actual fact, what had happened was I'd woken up at such a rate that it was just a lot for me to take in, you know. I'm sad now, as I'm sure you can tell, but he was having none of it because he was thinking I was giving him shit advice, and that these people that don't know his name, don't know anything about him, that he doesn't know anything about them, are investing nearly 100 grand into this and whatever. And it was only a couple of weeks ago, I just said to my dad, I'm prepping, I'm prepping, you know what I'm doing, and you know why I'm doing it. But I haven't factored in a single, even though he's left pretty much everything in his will to his only son. And I said to him, I've not factored in a single penny of that money in that will, not a penny. He said, why not? I said, because you're reckless, Dad. You're leaving all that money in fiat, and fiat is just is devaluing by the second. Whereas precious metals are increasing in value and will continue to do so. If he'd have taken my advice, he would have made a 140%, 130% return on his investment, as opposed to 6 or 7%. And now he's missed the boat. Try buying silver in large amounts now. It's impossible. But yeah, Dave, this is one of the reasons why I've been buying junk silver, threepences, sixpences, fourpences, shillings, old shillings, stuff like that, with a high, very, very high silver content. So I've got smaller denominations that I can use, hopefully, as some form of currency, because these things aren't being. But just make sure your missus is at least get an acid test kit, or a pocket pinger, just so you know it's the real deal. So there's so much fakery going on now; it's ridiculous, off the charts. Yeah, too much will damage your organs. In regards to dandelion, I'm assuming, Michael. Yeah, anything that's good for you is going to be bad for you if you have too much of it. It's about moderation, and that you know, a glass of red wine with a meal, with an evening meal, good quality, organic, no chemicals. A good quality organic glass of wine with an evening meal every day is beneficial to your health. You know, but if I have a bottle of water, you know, good nice wine in the house, and I have one glass, I'm going to finish that bottle. That's what's happening. I'm not like that with vodka, because there's already like a warning there subconsciously, you know, because I've been there. I've gone through a litre of vodka in a night. I've been there. So it's about being determined not to go back there. You know, I don't need to go to AA. I don't need to get counselling with stuff like that. I just either drink or I don't, you know. But even then, I don't drink to get pissed anymore. There's a difference. It just loosens me up for a live stream. But even then, I've proven I don't need loosening up for a live stream either. Because as long as I've got good company, we bounce off each other. I've always got something to say, you know. Anyway, there are usually over 100 who watching replays. The message is getting out there. I hope so, mate. You know, again, it's not about It's got nothing to do with popularity or notoriety. It's all about waking people up and just trying to do my little bit. Like, oh my God. Right, let me go for a piss first. Let me tell you this. So, right, I've told you the story about the paramedic in the back of the back of the ambulance, and we were just in this zone where nothing else existed. I had her complete and total attention, and she had mine. And you know when that's happening, you know that it's not just a one-sided thing, because you feel it. You're both in each other's field. I hope that makes sense, right? And I felt so guilty because I could see all of the cogs turning in a red. And anyway, so my postman last week, he delivered a load of stuff, and I don't know why this is blurring in and out, because it is a good quality webcam. I don't know why. If it keeps blurring out, just listen to my voice. So last week I was talking about homemade tinctures and fitness and all of that, and I kind of, he said, is there any kind of particular YouTube channel or anything like that you can connect me with, or name or mention, that you think I might benefit from? And that was like a fuck here now. Where do I start? Well, this was in regards to homeopathic medicine, natural healing, natural health, natural medicines, which is what I'm all about, right? So I had to think of something, but it had to be something that was going to be good, because when you get someone asking you a question like that, you've got to jump on it, but you've got to think it through. You can't lose them. Don't lose them, because that's another mind woken up. It gets better, right? So I said Barbara O'Neill, right? And to be honest with you, if you had to try and think of anyone down that line of thoughts as far as natural medicine and stuff like that, and disease prevention, Barbara O'Neill is the dog's bollocks. There are others, but I just said I'm not going to reel loads more off with you. Anyway, so he came back today and delivered loads of stuff today, and he says, I've not looked in. He says, I've been rushed off my feet. He says, I've not looked into Barbara O'Neill. Now, I was chuffed that he remembered. He remembered the name, so it's gone in. However, he was saying, I've never taken any medications, or I've never done this and I've never done that, and I try and keep myself quite fit and quite healthy, and blah 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 blah. And then I dropped the J-bomb on him, even though it is quite a personal question to ask someone, especially if you don't really know them that well. It's very personal. So I said, "Did you get jabbed?" And he said, "Yeah, well, I had to really, because he's got a bit of a southern accent." And I said, "You didn't have to. Nobody had to. I never did, and most of the people I know never did, because we were aware of what it was all about." And if that was when they put his head to one side, "What do you mean?" And then I thought, right, I can't lose him. I can't lose him. You know, I've got his attention. So I didn't want to go too deep and too dark on him at that point. So all I could think of saying to him was, have you ever heard of the yellow card system? And he went, "No." And I said, "Well, it was set up for people that had been harmed by these jabs, of which there are millions, to the point where if a jab or a vaccine," and I did do air quotes, "if a vaccine did any like a hundredth of the damage that these jabs have done, it would have been pulled straight from the market." But there are numerous accounts of people suffering right now, and people that have died, loads of people that have died from those jabs. So when you find out more information about these jabs, you're going to be very, very angry. But I just don't, just take into account what I've just said, and then just do a little bit of a search into what the yellow card system is, and you'll understand why you weren't notified of the yellow card system. Because if they'd let everyone know about the yellow card system, it would have raised so many eyebrows, and it would have gotten way too much attention, more attention than they wanted. And what I did say to him, "Look, have you had any side effects? Any whatsoever? Have you had any medical issues that would coincide with you having the jab or the jabs?" And he says, "No." He says, when I first had it, I didn't have any problems. I did know some people that did have problems almost, immediately after having it. I didn't have anything. And I said, right, that's a good sign, because not all of the batches of the jabs were, active. If let's use the word active, right? A lot of these batches were saline, because if every single batch was active, people would have just been looking around thinking, what the fuck? She was all right until she had that jab. He was all right until he had that jab. So I did pull that in there because I didn't want to freak him out. And I just said, look, chances are you've just had saline. Now that was a double-edged sword in regards to the government. I didn't want to go deeper than the government, right? So they could charge the same price for the COVID jabs as they charged for fucking saline water. Saline water that I could probably make 10 gallons for about £2 of saline. Yeah, each one of those vials was sold for God knows how much. And then each GP had their cut as well, So I had to reassure him, because when I was telling him, right, these jabs have been killing people and you're not aware of it, maiming people, changing people's lives forever. I had to try and bring it around to say, look, if you've not had any problems from All I'm saying to you is, if I was to give you some sincere, friendly advice right now, it would be to not go for any boosters, not go for any vaccinations whatsoever, ever. He said, well, I didn't take the flu one. And I'm like, yeah, that was MR. And that teased information out of me that gave him an extra layer. If he was able to remember Barbara O'Neill, after all of the conversations that he's going to have with all of the people that he posts mail to that require a signature or a photograph or a date of birth, having small talk with, and after all of that, weeks later, he's remembered Barbara O'Neill, he'll fucking remember this. So I said to him, yeah, the flu jabs are also mRNA based, which is, it's messing with your DNA. When this stuff messes with your DNA, you are no longer 100% human anymore. If anything, I didn't elaborate after that. Anyway, that's that done. He's gone away thinking, and hopefully he'll pass that on to someone, and then he'll pass it on to someone else, and those two separate people will then go on to pass it on to someone else. I'll never ever stop planting seeds until I'm dead. So that DNA alteration, based on the fact that there was what is it when you put a name, when you come up with an idea and you oh fucking hell, what is it? Patent, right? So if that biological bioweaponry that was injected into so many people, and I'm aware that at least one of you guys was jabbed, but likely to have been saline, so this doesn't apply to you, right? Because it was patented, if that alters your DNA, then in theory, you belong to the corporation that created that technology. Because you offered yourself up willingly. So it was contractual. You know, if we give you this, you belong to us. You're ours. You know? That's how it usually works. So that, yeah, go on then, is a contract. And if it messes with your DNA and restructures your DNA in some way, then you're owned. Not only are you owned, you're not fully human anymore. Not in the purest form. But then, you know, what are our origins? You know, what are our origins? Were we created in some sort of elaborate, fucked up, crazy, mad, batshit bonkers DNA sequencing event, splicing us from fucking chimps or whatever? Who knows? Who knows? I don't buy the whole evolution thing. I don't believe that that I'm a direct descendant of a chimpanzee, which is the closest we've got to humans in this world. I don't buy that at all. My coffee in the morning. Yeah, dandelion coffee is really good for you. No caffeine, so you don't get that kick. But caffeine can be addictive. It can. I remember years and years ago, my mum was told by my by the family doctor, you need to knock caffeine on the head. You've got to stop drinking tea and coffee. And she did. While she was drinking cans of cider. She was a pisshead. It's like, oh, I've given up coffee and tea for my health. She's knocking back a can. If you got to go, you got to go as needs must. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. See, right. Let me get all the way down so that I've not, and then I need to leave it on a positive. Recent studies turned up that Zantac, one of the big selling antacids, was very, very bad for the heart. Yeah. Again, it's these medications they destroy your gut biome, and a gut biome is essential for your health. Essential. So you destroy that, it's going to start affecting other parts of your body, because that's your first line of defense. And a lot of these medications, you know, like the lansoprazole and all that you're given to protect the lining of your stomach for stronger medications to go in there, like high strength ibuprofen and some very, very powerful painkillers. I've forgotten the name of one in particular. Your body's going to, you know, these medications prevent your body from. So if you take one of those lansoprazoles and then the Zantac, and there's a few others as well. If you take them, you know, and then you decide that you're hungry 2 hours later, and you eat a really, really healthy dinner, right? That's going to be, you know, even the dog's bollocks of gut biome healthy foods like kimchi, which is the top tier. Nothing beats it, right? And you eat kimchi, all of the enzymes and stuff that's in kimchi will just be completely and utterly destroyed by that medication. So all of the really good healthy stuff that you're taking and you're eating gets destroyed by these medications. They're so bad. Sodium bicarbonate. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Sodium bicarbonate is good for so many things. You know, I'm very passionate about things that have got a multitude of uses, you know, and bicarbonate of sodium, bicarbonate, very, very good. There's so many different things, so many applications for that stuff, and it doesn't really have a use by date, you know. So stock up if you can, stock up, because it has medicinal properties too, you know, and it's sort of natural, sort of, you know. Sodium bicarbonate is magical too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm glad that you both said that. You both must have typed that at the same time. I love that, you know. Many uses for it. Yeah, I hear Costa sell silver by the kilo. Costco, yeah, but I wouldn't trust a place like that to sell me genuine precious metals. I just wouldn't, you know. The amount of garbage they sell to the public, why should this be any different? Costco, Target, places like that in America, they're all very, very, very sinister, devious fucking places. So I'd always be thinking, what's the catch? What's the catch? Are you buying fake silver from China and selling it to the public because it's got like a millimeter, maybe a centimeter of solid silver encapsulating lead or something, another metal that weighs more or less the same. Just getting that balance right between a centimeter layer of pure silver around a brick, right? And then whatever metal in the middle that you would need to compensate that, to make it up to a proper official kilo of silver, for example. Because there is so much going on in regards to fake silver out there, it's ridiculous. So if you're going to buy it directly from a mint or a very reputable supplier that get theirs from the mint. Yeah, but again, I was going to say, if when America attacks the last country on earth that doesn't want to play ball with a specific type of Zionist, they don't want to play ball, you know. They're a sovereign country. America, the UK, you know, we're just fucking bully boys being operated by Kabbalistic Zionists. Total world domination. And Iran is the last one to fall. But when that happens, the price of gold is going to go up and up and up. The price of silver is going to go up and up and up. And I need to end. I need to tell you about something, but I don't want to end it on a negative. But it's something you need to know. But I won't be able to claw myself back from that to bring it back to a positive again. So I'm going to avoid that for tonight. So all of these precious metals is just going to go up and up and up and up and up. That's what people do. They put even the plow more and more money into precious metals when there's about to be a war, right? Because that's your wealth protected, right? And the same applies with silver, same applies with copper. But because it's Iran, you're going to notice it at the petrol pump and the diesel pump. It's going to go up. It's going to go up. Because that whole area is a shipping area for oil. So it could bring a bit of a petrol and diesel crisis to the West, because we rely on those countries to produce the oil that we use for our diesel, our petrol, and industry in general. So I don't know if you're investing in stocks and shares. I'm not. I was tempted, but I'm not. But if you want to invest in anything right now, it would be holding gold, holding copper, holding silver. I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. What do I know? And if you're making investments, you can get an app on your phone, and then you can start buying shares in companies. Anything that produces oil is going to go up in value. Your shares will go up. Gold mining shares are going to go up. Silver mining shares will go up continuously. Tin, lead, copper mines will all go up, because most silver isn't mined intentionally. There aren't that many actual silver mines around. Silver is found as a byproduct. It's like, oh, fucking hell, bonus, you know? And then start mining that as well. In fact, prioritizing that. But yeah, you know, get your financial affairs in order, you know, and start looking and considering some little side hustles. I've got about 10 little side hustles that I can, but that's not been an overnight thing. It's like, that's a good idea. Then I've implemented it. You know, the supplements, for example, people are going back to basics. They're going back. The best way forward is to go back, you know. So I have got a couple of customers for my supplements. It's not much, you know, but it helps. And eventually, when they start saying, you know what, I've been taking these supplements, and I feel fucking good, a noticeable difference, and it's not down to the thingy effect. Okay, now it's getting late, and I'm just thinking about getting up early and taking these out for their last walk. Magnetic tests are good for silver. Got to be pretty powerful though. Worth looking up, mate. I've got, right. Let me demonstrate. Right, so believe it or not, that's a fridge magnet. And if you want to take a screen test for a reputable, very reputable supplier of filters for your Berkey, do a screenshot now. Got it? And the back of it is a magnet, right? Now, this is what the cunts are being allowed to do in China. Flooding the market with this garbage. It weighs exactly 1 ounce. Exactly. Right? And then when you look at it, you know, look at that. Now, this is an Australian one. So you've got the Kookaburra on the back, which is an actual coin that is sold through the mint of 1 ounce of pure silver. And if you can look at the bottom there, 2016, 1 ounce, 999 silver. Yeah. And the Kookaburra is part of the kingfisher family. It's the biggest kingfisher in the world. Lives nowhere near water. Fun fact. Now this magnet, oh, actually, because there are some, believe it or not, that don't respond to magnets that aren't real. Right. Now this is a fake Britannia, right? Some of them, because of they're all minted differently. You know, you get minty. You have to look into it. It's I don't want to because I'm looking at the time. So this would look just like a genuine Britannia, right? And you can just make out that little dot there. That's where I did an acid test to check to make sure that it was fake, turned blue, right? This is a magnet. You've just seen it. Yeah, looks the real deal, and it weighs exactly an ounce. This is a fake coin. There's absolutely nothing, no magnetism there whatsoever. Weighs exactly an ounce. So there are other ways that you can, I mean, there's a machine you can buy if you're a massive investor, like over $1,000, and they'll just tell you exactly how much silver, exactly, 99.9999 or 0.9999 or whatever. They'll tell you exactly what it is. And not just with silver or gold, it'll tell you each individual element. Copper, how pure the copper is, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not a big investor, I'm not massively invested in metals. I'm not massively, but I do know that the coins, I knew that these were fake before I bought them, right? I wanted to make a point, and I knew I'd be covered on eBay to get my money back, right? But there are still people buying these fucking coins, divvy fucking retards. I just bought a whole ounce of silver for $5.99. I'm going to put it away. Tards. No common sense. Not putting two and two together thinking, that's really cheap, that is. If it's too good to be true, but it must be true. It must be, because it says it's silver on the coin. This is what we're up against. Morons flooding the market with fake silver because they think they've got the real deal. Now, I know that all of the silver that I've got is very real. All of it. Every single one of it. Every single bit. I don't want to tell you how much I've got. And then the gold, all very real. I'm not loaded. I can't afford to buy. One of the best times to buy gold and silver was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3, 4 years ago. But if you're ever going to get on the ladder of buying precious metals, even copper, before it goes through the roof, is probably now. But I haven't got the funds to buy any gold. It's too expensive. It's out of my price range to get any more. Silver is out of my price range to get any more. Copper, I've topped off on copper. I don't want to buy so much copper that it's just, but I might do. Who knows? If it's cheap enough. Oh dear. Where are we? But yeah, Dave, the magnets do work on occasion, but not always. They're coming up with more and more and more ways of anything that's coming out of China now is very, 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 very dodgy, And Shanghai pretty much command the price of silver. But then that command's going to be out of their hands because it's something they can't print. It's something they can't make, other than flooding the market with fake shit. I feel sorry for the Chinese people, Hopefully the postman talked to his family and his friends about what he discussed with him. Yeah, I agree. Again, just waking one person up. I'll keep planting seeds, and I'll keep planting them, and I'll keep planting them. I'll never, ever, ever stop planting those seeds. But it's got to be 110% factual. You know, if you throw a guess at them, if they ask you a question, you throw just a guess at them, and they go back and they research that and it's false, you've lost them. You know? So try and tread carefully, not to the point where you're going to destroy them, like I think I did with that paramedic. I do feel bad about that, but again, you know, it's another set of eyes opened. But I'm just trying to be careful with the postman. I said, go away, look into the yellow card system, ask yourself why the hell that would they need something like that for the first time in vaccination history. And then if you've got any questions when you come back, I'm here to talk, no problem. I heard about the Costco silver. Apparently it was good value for money. I've heard the same. Rosa, sauerkraut. I think that's got something like 50 or 60 enzyme related good gut health beneficial elements to it. About 50, something like that, if I remember right. Kimchi, around 900. So sauerkraut is still very, very good for your gut. You're still giving your gut a kiss when you eat sauerkraut, especially if you eat it regularly. So is apple cider vinegar. Everyone needs to get loads of ACV in their house. Loads. Stock up on it. And if you know where there are any apple trees, learn how to make it yourself. That's even better. I hope that answers your question, Rosa, in regards to sauerkraut. It is good, but nowhere near. It doesn't come anywhere close to kimchi. Silver on the way up again, £63 an ounce today. Yeah, the looking, if you base it on America, I'm so sorry. If you base it on America's valuations, it's finally, what it needs to do is find its base rate, and it's found its base rate, and that's about $70, which is pretty much equivalent to 63 quid. So that's it. It won't go any, from now on, it shouldn't go any lower. So if you spent 30, 35 quid on an ounce of silver a year ago, which you could do, then you've already doubled your money. Well, hold on to it. But then there's a downside to that I'm not going to talk about tonight. I might do an impromptu live stream during the week, maybe, so we can discuss this, because it's very important, you know. Sauerkraut, very good. Yeah, it is good for you. Very good for you. I think the placebo effect was, yeah, thank you, Michael. I hate it when I have thought about what are the words that never ever come to my mind, and then put them all around the fucking screen, you know, so that I can just remind myself of those words, so it doesn't interrupt my flow and stress me out, you know, because it irritates me. But thankfully, I've got you guys there to help me out, and I really, really appreciate that. It's a very beautiful coin. It is, but it's worth fuck all. It's worth nothing, you know. If that was the real deal, the point I'm trying to make is there are people buying these coins here, thinking they're the real deal for like $9.99, not thinking, hold on, how come they're selling for nearly 100 quid on eBay? Yeah, I've just got one for 10 quid. and people are still buying them. Retards, fucking retards. How can you be that naive? Oh no, it's stuck to the yeah, I know. Oh, I'm so far behind. Got to crash, folks. The rum has taken its toll. Good night, Dave, mate. I'm sorry if I've missed you. Much love, brother, and have a good weekend. Make sure you do. Right, we'll call it to a close. We'll bring it to a close now. I'll get my girls out for just one walk in the mud, and yeah, I'll do an impromptu live stream during the middle of the week. Again, as long as there's one person, just one person, one man, one woman, that's prepared to listen and engage with me, I'll do a live stream. Just one person, one man, one woman. It doesn't bother me. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm not about all of that, you know. I never was. So to the beautiful, beautiful 3 people that are still remaining, just thank you for spending your time with me. I genuinely appreciate it. You know, I get from you, you get from me, and they're always fair, beautiful, sincere exchanges, genuine, you know, and I love that. There's not enough of that in the world. So just have a great weekend, and sweet dreams to all of you, you know. And just remember, no fear. It's going to be, I think this is going to be a very interesting weekend. I hope I'm wrong, but whether it is or whether it isn't, you know, don't let it change your stance on life. You matter. Much love. And I mean that. Ciao for now.